Hello and welcome to Georgia Bulldogs Live here on the Georgia Voice of College Football. I'm your host, Matt Green, my co-host, also rocking green tonight, Bo Underwood. Bo, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. It's not easy being green, but we made it through. I'm doing good, man. Just
Abs-
college football season's officially over, man. That's a bummer. It's gonna be a long 8 months or however long it is.
I know, man. I know. Was that Kermit the Frog that said it's not easy being
Yeah, that
green?
was
I feel like
that was a
it's
current
never been
bar.
that difficult. It's never been that difficult for me. It seems like it's a solid. Everyone likes green. Green means go. Green is
Yeah,
money. A lot of positive associations with green.
yeah.
Um,
That's kind of the conclusion that Kermit arrived at eventually too. So
oh, is that where he got?
yeah. He eventually is like, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. Um, I'm not as cultured as I should be. But yeah, like you said, man, the college football season is officially over. January 20th it is here today on Tuesday, the day after. The Indiana Hoosiers, sir, beat the Miami Hurricanes to win their first national championship in school history. And man, I don't even know where to start with this. Is this like the best story that you can ever remember of a college football like national champion?
Yeah, I think it's probably the most shocking title run that I've probably ever seen in just about any sport, really. I mean, I'm obviously a bit more biased towards football because that's the one that I just watch the most and care about the most. But it's pretty incredible, man. I mean, it's been explained to me numerous times, like, oh, like they just got a bunch of guys from the portal and their whole team is old and all that stuff. That's all well and good, but I don't really care, man. I still think it's incredible that Indiana, I mean, got a national championship. Like before this season, they were the losingest program in the country in terms of win percentage, and then they rip off a 16-0 season, and now they're not the losingest program anymore. Like that kind of rise, no matter how you do it, I just think that it's incredible. It's one of the craziest stories ever, and I'm very happy for their fans, man. They deserve it.
Yeah, and especially just how it happened. Like obviously they went to the portal and got the Heisman Trophy winner. So like on its surface, it's like, oh, this team went out and they got a quarterback in the portal, and that's all you got to do. You just pay a bunch of players now. But I mean, and maybe I'm selling Fernando Mendoza short. Obviously, dude had his Heisman moment. Probably gonna be the number one pick in the national championship and everything. But it's not like he was just like, with all due respect, he wasn't Joe Burrow or Cam Newton this year. He was just like really solid all year. Like I wouldn't describe this as a team that like the quarterback just carried them. Like, oh, they went out into the portal. Like it doesn't like fit that narrative. Whereas like 2010 Auburn is honestly one of the teams I was kind of thinking of. It was just like most unlikely national champions. It's like it took the greatest player we've ever seen to like single-handedly carry a team. Like obviously, like you had like the moment of like the comeback versus Alabama and stuff like that. But like I just can't think of like I just don't think about Indiana like that team. They were just so solid, just like all 22 starters. It's just like this team was just good at every single position. And then yeah, the quarterback's the Heisman Trophy winner. That never hurts, but I don't know. It's how this team is built in terms of being an unlikely champion. Like obviously, what they're preseason top 10, I believe, right? Like they were
I
around
think
10. They're
so.
coming off a 10-2 season, 10-3, or
They were
11
11
11
and
and
2
2,
last year.
11-2. That's right, because they won 11-1 regular season and then lost to Notre Dame. So yeah, it's just
They were
being.
they were number 20 in the preseason bowl.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, I would have said they were higher. So preseason number 20 winning the championship, like that doesn't happen very often. I think Auburn was something like that, 20s or maybe even unranked. But yeah, like I don't know, man. It's obviously was a 2-year process, but I can't think of like we've still seen teams in the SEC like an Ole Miss or something that's yet to play for a conference championship in all the years they've been. And obviously they almost won a national championship. Miami almost did the same thing this year, but I don't know. It's hard to find a comparison for this team, just how dominant they were kind of out of nowhere. Like, and
Yeah.
they were just such a good, well-rounded team.
Yeah, I think that just speaks to how much roster construction has changed in college football. I mean, I know a lot of people's first reaction after the game was they looked at Indiana as a 16-0 team and immediately started stacking them up to like, the 2019 LSU team or the 2013 Florida State team or the 2001, like whatever, all those teams. And I just don't think that's fair because the way that teams are built now is so just like the college football in general, we talk about this all the time, is just so homogenized now with the transfer portal and NIL. It's leveled the playing field more than pretty much it's ever been and probably ever will be. So I just think, Indiana being this portal team where they got their whole team is like grad guys and JMU transfers and, Mendoza's a Cal transfer. Like we can start to apply asterisks to it if you want. I know there's always going to be detractors. There's always going to be people who watch a team win a championship and they poke holes in it and everything. But I kind of think Indiana, like there's going to be more teams that look like this that make playoff runs going forward, and they're kind of just the first ones to really break through and have a magical season like that. Obviously, the stars still have to align. I'm not saying every national championship team from here on out is just going to be like loaded with transfers and guys they brought over from G5 schools, but I do kind of think that we're trending towards that direction versus a team like the 2018 Clemson team or the LSU team where you look at it and it's like, wow, there's like 3 NFL starters on the depth chart at every single position. Those kinds of teams just don't really exist anymore, and so I think the teams that start winning championships are gonna look a lot more like this one going forward. So you can call Signetti a portal merchant or whatever all you want, but I kind of think he's more of a pioneer than anything.
When you say look more like this one, you're referencing like 65% of their starters being transfers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that might end up being a high number, but I think it's gonna be closer to 65 than 25.
Yeah, and that probably is a high number just because of Signetti bringing so many of his guys from James Madison over, like a new hire like that. But it probably won't be a new hire in terms of, or an outlier in terms of roster construction and guys' first, second years. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of this guys bringing a bunch of staffers and players with them when they get a new job. But winning a national championship while doing that is a whole nother story. It's just, yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest takeaway from this is just kind of like, is this the new model for college football?
Yeah.
Like, do you have to construct your team with players this experience, this many 23, 24-year-olds or however many guys they got like that? Like, I think that's going to be the biggest takeaway. And you look at someone like Georgia, it's not necessarily how Georgia is constructing their roster right now.
Yeah, not at all. I think Georgia had the lowest percentage of transfers of anybody that made the playoff. Or they were pretty close to it.
I think that's right.
There was some stat like that, but yeah, I just think that obviously time will tell, but the way that the sport has kind of shifted now, the number one way to acquire talent is no longer high school recruiting. It's the transfer portal. It's an advantage when you can go in and get a guy who already has 2, 3, sometimes 4 years of playing experience at another school that's a proven commodity and is generally, in most cases, much further along physically than an 18-year-old kid or a 19-year-old kid who just got to campus and was in high school last year. And you saw that. I mean, Indiana was dominating teams, and I'm not saying they were only dominating because they had a bunch of 22-year-olds and 23-year-olds on their team, but I think the experience definitely mattered, and the physical maturation definitely mattered a little bit, and that's going to kind of start to become the model, I think, at least more so than these teams that just recruit high school kids from the ground up. Like, I know that's always going to be the commendable way, and the purists are always going to want it to be that way, and I'd be lying if I kind of said I didn't want it to be that way personally, but you just can't ignore the way that these teams are going out and getting players out of the portal now and building their rosters up, and I just think Indiana is like really the first extreme example of a team breaking through the way that they did, doing it that way.
Yeah, and I felt like I felt a little a hint of boomer coming into me when I disregard that how I said that. Yeah, let's move it on. When Ty Simpson said his quote about Alabama, like I don't want to be like some guy that just went to Miami for a year. Like I bled in Bryant Denny Stadium, and those are my guys, and all that stuff. It was like, yeah, that's college football the way it
Yeah,
should be. Like I know I felt myself being like, okay, I do
yeah.
like that. But
No, I
no,
like that too.
it's understandable as fans, because we're fans. Like we get it's a bit of business, but you're gonna have more of an attachment to those guys that stayed 3 or 4 years, that sort of thing. I definitely wonder about the sustainability of it. Like you talking about them being the first one, like that 2023 Florida State team was damn good too. Obviously, Jordan Travis got hurt and that derailed everything. But they also loaded up a team with a bunch of transfers and NFL players, and they were a damn good team too that was capable of winning a national championship that year. Like if things go a little differently. But obviously, at full strength, we saw what happened in the Orange Bowl against Georgia that year. But yeah, I think you saw this one. January 19th was this national championship. I think someone showed the next 4 years. It's like the one year is the 20th, one's like the 25th, the 26th, some of these national championship games. That's where I wonder, and obviously there's going to be rule changes in the next 5 years because this sport is just going so crazy right now, or at least there should be some rule changes in the next 5 years. But like, if the championship is ending that late in the month of January, like those teams, maybe the transfer portal is a way to win a championship, but it seems like you're kind of screwed in that next year because now the portal's closed by the time the college football season's over, and there's no way you can actually be as aggressive. Like you can obviously have a general manager who's managing the portal and knowing who's going in and out and that sort of thing. But until the season's over, I don't think there's any clear way to know it. So it's almost like you go all out for a championship because you're probably going to regress a little bit the next year if you're relying on this too much. Like it feels like to me, Georgia right now is maybe it's just the safest model, but it feels like I guess that's what I am saying. It's the safest model doing what Georgia is. So maybe Kirby Smart can't win another national championship doing the way he's doing it, but it feels like the safest model to just consistently land top 3 to 5 recruiting classes in high school and then go to the portal to get some key players where you might have some weaknesses in some specific rosters. But I don't know. It just, in terms of keeping a culture and just keeping like a Georgia way of practicing and a way of doing things, it feels like that's the only solution. And Georgia, maybe the bad years, Georgia is a team that loses in the round of 8. And that's happened 2 years in a row now. And then you get that one superstar that turns you into a champion. But it feels like the bad years for Georgia were doing things the way they do. It's like at worst a playoff appearance.
Yeah, that's definitely probably the more surefire way to build like what you said, a safe team where it's like the floor for this team is either a playoff appearance or knocking on the door of the playoff. That's probably high school recruiting is definitely the best way to make sure your team has a high floor. I don't think anyone would discount that. But I also don't think that the national championship or going that far in the playoffs when the portal window is closed is that big of a disadvantage. Because if you look at Indiana, they've got 17 portal kids committed right now. And they've got some pretty interesting recruits. I mean, one of them is former Georgia cornerback A.J. Harris, and they've got Nick Marsh from Michigan State. He's a beast. He was one of the best players in the portal. Like, it can still be done. It's obviously harder. I mean, I cannot imagine what Signetti and that staff was going through trying to prepare for a playoff run, prepare for actual football games, while also recruiting kids out of the portal and making sure that their team would be competent next year. But I agree, like the meta for building a consistent year in and year out product and cultivating a culture and all that is going the high school route. But I think what Indiana has shown is if you can hit on a bunch of portal kids, that's probably even better. That probably raises your ceiling a lot higher if you get the right guys to come in. Obviously, not everybody's going to be able to get the Heisman Trophy winner out of the portal. Who knows how many times we'll see that, but I guarantee you it ain't the last time it's happened.
So next 5 years, Georgia makes 5 playoff appearances. Let's say losing the round of 8 3 times, losing the round of 4 twice. How are Georgia fans feeling about that?
I think they're going to be pissed. I think the further and further they get from those championships, the more upset they'll get. just like anything, right? I mean, it probably won't feel like it did before 2021, where it was we haven't won a championship in 4 decades, but everything is about results in this business, and especially if Georgia continues to focus on high school recruiting as much as they do, and they continue to, I'm not gonna say not emphasize the portal because they're not going like Clemson mode or whatever, but I bet if they continue to construct their teams the way that they're doing it now, and they continue to come up short in the playoff, there are going to be those outside cries from fans to go all in on the portal and get your whole team out
Yeah.
of the portal. And I don't know if they would ever do that. I don't know if that's how Kirby Smart likes to do things, but I think if they continue to not be able to get over the hump, and we continue to see teams like the Indianas of the world get it done with a bunch of transfers, yeah, that noise is going to start to creep in. I'm not sure how much that would actually affect Georgia, but you would start to hear. I mean, you hear all types of stuff from people.
Yeah, you do hear all types of stuff. What if it's 5 straight SEC championships in that? That'd be 7 straight SEC
If they just
titles
have
at
the
that point.
exact same year, 2024, 2025, over and over again, they just keep winning the SEC.
If they did the same thing and lost in the round of 8, that's why I threw out a Final Four.
That'd be a whole different thing. If they keep like just not being able to get out of the quarterfinal.
Yeah, losing in the Sugar Bowl.
I don't even think that would. I think that would open up a whole different conversation about like Kirby Smart can't coach in the postseason, or Mike Bobo, or whoever you want to scapegoat. But
you would definitely have to make some sort of changes, even if you're clearly really good if you're winning the SEC every year. But if you're not getting past the round of 8, I don't know. But we're a long way from that, obviously. But yeah, I kind of wonder what that is like, because you look at Georgia's quarterback room right now, and it's not busting with 5 stars by any means. I don't think it has any 5 stars, former 5 stars on it right now. But it has now Bryson Beaver, the 2026 Oregon commit, that's now a transfer, quote unquote, but part of the 2026 class essentially. There's probably not a lot of programs in college football that have 4 deep with 4-star quarterbacks on their roster. Like, that is good to have that much, but it's like we're talking about, kind of Mark Richt. Like, Georgia's doing a lot of things good, and Georgia fans got a little hostile by doing things good. We wanted to be great. That's why we moved on to Kirby Smart. So I do wonder if Georgia, looks at Indiana and kind of starts to change their approach a little bit. But I don't know. I love seeing not every, because some things have changed in recent classes, but I love seeing lots of years where the 5-star defensive prospects from the state of Georgia are signing with Georgia, and they turn into NFL players more times than not. I do love to see Georgia get those guys. So if they turn into a transfer, a mostly transfer team, I don't know. It would take some getting used to.
Yeah, it would. I don't think it'll ever get to that point, because I really do genuinely like the way Georgia does it now, where they get the whole bedrock of their team out of a top 5 ranked high school class, and then they identify needs, they identify positions where they could benefit from a veteran player at that spot, and then they go out and get a guy. Obviously, for every Zachariah Branch, there's a Noah Thomas. No disrespect. Like, I'm just saying they're not batting 1,000 on their transfers.
Yeah.
Nobody is. But I think the thing about fan hostility towards not getting over the hump that this Indiana championship is going to show is that fans of blue blood schools, these big time AAA programs like Georgia, I don't think we can get so hung up on program pedigree anymore. I don't think you can be like, well, we're Georgia, we got to win championships. We're LSU, we're Alabama, we're whoever, we're Ohio State. The literal losingest team in the program in the history of college football just went 16-0 and won the national championship. Like, welcome to the new era, man. Like, anybody can become that type of program now in 1 offseason, 2 off seasons. I mean, like, it's a little harder. Maybe I'm oversimplifying, but my overall point is there's just not this gap in resources anymore that there used to be among Power 4 schools. And so it's becoming a lot more like the NFL, where any given Saturday, right? I mean, any given year, a team can go crazy in the portal, hit on all the right guys, all the stars align, and then you go on a run. It's not just these opportunities to win championships are not just reserved only for the same 7, 8 programs, you know?
No, I think that's true. That's why Lane Kiffin making his decision when he did, it's like, I don't
Yeah,
know. Ole
like
Miss almost won a
that,
damn
that
championship
would have
this
made
year.
so much sense in like 2016, but I
Yeah.
don't know now. I mean, Ole Miss got that guy at NFL roster last year. That
Yeah.
2024 Ole Miss team, like, you ever just read the names on that roster? It's insane.
Yeah, they were loaded.
I'm sure LSU still has. We don't need to go down the Kiffin rabbit hole because God knows we've spent too much time talking about Laney, Joey Freshwater on this show already. But yeah, I think what you were getting at is like, is the disparity between LSU and Ole Miss really that different? I don't know. Ole Miss probably has more money, but how much more, really?
Yeah, and then you just whatever that difference is, now you're starting from zero at LSU. Like at Ole Miss, you weren't starting at zero. You were starting with a lot of built-in just credibility because of what you've done to that program. It'd take a lot of. I mean, Lane Kiffin could win 10 games the next 5, 6 years, and his seat wouldn't even be warm at Ole Miss. You win 10 games 3 years in a row at LSU and don't win anything else, like you're on the hot seat. You might not make it to year 4.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Do you think Kurt Signetti in Indiana, do you think they're a powerhouse program moving forward?
Hell yeah.
You think there's going to be
I just think the definition of a powerhouse program has permanently changed. And
okay, how so?
Yeah, because like I said, I just think that you can put together these runs so quickly now, no matter what kind of program you are. And the fact that we have seen Indiana do it is enough proof of concept to where we cannot count them out any given year.
So they're just one of the 10 to 15 programs that can win it all now, basically.
I think there's just more than 10 to 15 now.
Okay. Because we're in a post powerhouse world, essentially. Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm a little annoyed, I'll say, may just being salty as a Georgia fan, is how many people I see Kurt Signetti's best coach in college football. Like, one championship? We're giving this to guys for one championship? Kirby was just, had to prove a lot for a lot of years before he was put number 1, number 2 on those lists. But, man, it's just a sensitive Georgia fan talking over here.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to put anybody above our boy Kirby for sure, but the achievement to win a national title and go 16-0 and have the Heisman Trophy winner at Indiana University of all places. No disrespect, in Bloomington is awesome.
No disrespect,
but like, that's a pretty remarkable achievement, and I'm not going to sit here and get mad at anyone who says that Coach Signetti is the best coach in college football, even though I may privately disagree. But he's
no, exactly. And it's not the same extent, but like Dabo Swinney is a 2-time national champion. No one's putting him on a top 10 coaching list right now because in the sport in 2026, he's not a top 10 coach. He used to be. The way things used to be done, he was a top 2 coach, but he didn't adapt to the sport. So Kirby has not been affected to that standard. Maybe he's now 2 on the list, but I mean, there's an argument if this is how the sport is played now, maybe Signetti knows how to, maneuver this terrain better than Kirby Smart does. He has, through this one playoff. Obviously, they lost to Notre Dame in the first round, year 1. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sound like a hater today. There's nothing you can really say about Indiana. I mean, it's pretty remarkable that a team was able to pull this off.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Fernando and that whole team. I mean, it's one of the cooler runs that I think we've ever seen. I was at the Peach Bowl. I think I said this last week, but I was at the Peach Bowl when they beat Oregon, and it was like 95% Indiana fans, and they were all very nice people, and they were all just so overwhelmed with excitement and joy that they were going on this run, and I think it was well deserved for that fan base for sure.
For sure. There's nothing you can really say. against them. Like I've number one Big Ten hater out there. I think over here, I clown the Big Ten, and to be fair, to be consistent, the SEC, I think I said this a week ago when we were talking, the SEC's national championship streak is not why the SEC was the best conference. I feel like it was just a trivial fact, a little feather in the cap that like, oh yeah, and they've won like 8 straight national championships or whatever that streak got to. They've won a bunch of national championships, but it was always the depth of the conference, I think, that made the SEC better than the Big Ten, and the depth of national title contenders. You had 2019, 20, 21 with LSU, Alabama, Georgia, 3 different programs winning national championships. The Big Ten was it felt like a one contender conference for a solid decade with Ohio State. And then Penn State started to come along and be respectable. And then Michigan had their years of becoming a powerhouse. Now that you've got 3 years in a row, Michigan, Ohio State, Indiana, 3 different programs win national championships. And Penn State was supposed to be one of their big 3. It's like it came outside of the big 3, one of those championships. I don't know. It's hard to argue about the depth of the Big Ten right now. I know they're going to say they're the best conference in college football. I don't agree, but I'm running out of ammunition to argue the point, I would say, right now in 2026.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you can call it a top heavy conference, but then you look at it and it's like not only do they have the 3 last national championships, but it's been 3 different programs. So that if that doesn't speak to depth, I don't know what does. The SEC might be a little better still, like 1 through 16 or however many it is, but it just depends on who you value or what you value more in what you deem like a superior conference. And I'm certainly not going to get mad at anybody who values friggin' national championships highly, because I do too. And the Big Ten has the last 3 of them. So
yeah,
I can't argue much with that.
Yeah, and I obviously have very strong opinions on the seedings and how the bracket has been set up the last 2 years, but also Penn State and Oregon have been Final Four teams the last 2 years. That's 5 different programs. That's pretty strong right there. There's not much you can say against that point for the Big Ten.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, they're on a hell of a run right now, man. They really are, and I wonder if it's just because they have better donor bases and wealthier alumni than the SEC does, or I don't know what it is, but yeah, the Big Ten is on an unprecedented run right now. Maybe not unprecedented, but they are on a hell of a run.
Yeah, it's not unprecedented because the SEC has done this, but you're right. It is a hell of a run. Indiana doing it is the unprecedented part, but yeah, it's I'll be curious to see how this kind of works out. Like, obviously, there's a bunch of talent in the Big Ten. I'm curious to see what the NFL draft, like that's the other SEC kind of feather in their cap of just having the most players drafted, like what, a decade, 15 years straight or something at this point.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious to see what that looks like. Obviously, that's not the end all be all. But that's just one more data point. But this is not a Big Ten show. Even though Sanjay watching live says we look like we support Notre Dame now. We do not support Notre Dame, Sanjay, but I'm always repping the green. You know that. But both of us rocking the green today. Transfer portal, sir. Oh, no. Before we get on the transfer portal, and I'll say we weren't repping Miami either.
Yeah,
what's your takeaway from all the Carson Beck just hate going on there? Like, I don't know whether to, like, where does the hate come from? Is it because he's just not the best looking guy? Is it because Miami gave him so much money? Are we talking Georgia hate? Are we talking national hate? Because I don't know who hates more.
I don't know. The national hate, I really, I don't know. People do just clown his appearance or whatever, which I don't know. I always think that's weird. I'm not going to sit around calling another man ugly. I don't care if a dude is ugly. But, yeah, I don't know. The reasons I always hear from Georgia fans why they don't like him is because he transferred and he bought a Lamborghini and he dated an influencer girlfriend and then he cheated on her, which is your reason for not liking an athlete is because he cheated on his girlfriend. I have bad news about like 90% pro athletes, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know where the hate comes. I guess it's just like I guess a lot of people still blame him for not Georgia not winning the national title last year, even though he got hurt in the SEC championship game. Um, they don't like that he transferred. They don't like that he said he rediscovered his love for football at Miami. I don't know. People just don't. There's a lot of fans who are just really negative people, and just they want to come up with a lot of reasons. Because I all I hear is like, oh, Carson Beck's like not a good guy. Carson Beck's like not a good guy or whatever. And I've never really heard anything public about him come out other than like his personal relationship stuff that I don't care about. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I really I don't know where it really comes from because I've heard all the reasons that people don't like him and they just don't really make all that much sense to me. So I think more than anything, it's just Georgia fans being salty that he transferred and them trying to come up with other reasons to like cape for it or whatever because it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't.
Yeah, and your line along the lines of athletes cheating, like if you're gonna have just a blanket stance of just like anyone who transfers, I just hate like forever. It's like you might have to change that. Like I don't know. It's 2026 and everyone is transferring all the time. Like even someone like Georgia who doesn't utilize the portal, like Georgia's roster is probably gonna be next year like 70% of players who signed with Georgia out of high school. I don't know. I'm just throwing a number out, but it's not going to be 100. So I don't know. Yeah, that part. And it's interesting how quick people are to forget to think of him as like, oh, he's just has a Lambo and a TikTok girlfriend or whatever. Like this guy sat for 3 years at Georgia as a fairly big time recruit that could have gone somewhere. Sat for 3 years and then started for 2 years, and Georgia was really good the 2 years he started. But like, I guess. And my thing is too that I never really looked at him as a transfer from Georgia this year because it felt like he transferred from the NFL. Like he was going pro. Like like the Carson Beck era just kind of ended in Georgia, and then I was like, oh, actually, he's got a bonus year and he's going to go to Miami. Like I don't know. To me, it kind of seems like when you have an ex-girlfriend, if you move on to a better relationship that you're happy with, why are you still mad at the ex? Like I feel like most Georgia fans are happy with Gunnar Stockton. He fits the program. He's our all shucks guy. Like
that's their guy. Yeah, that is like the quarterback built for Georgia fans to like because he's like he grew up a Georgia fan. He drives a pickup truck, and maybe that's it. Maybe it really is. Maybe Carson Beck really just is the antithesis to Gunnar Stockton, and Georgia fans just hate him because he's so materialistic. He has a Lamborghini and he has a influencer girlfriend and all this stuff. But I've never seen any other player get criticized for driving a Lamborghini in my life. I've never seen it.
No, I really haven't.
You know what, man? If I was a college football quarterback, I would also drive a Lamborghini. Like I would. And
I probably wouldn't, but I would drive an expensive car for sure.
I don't understand the issue here. I really don't get the problem. Like I think people really have just made up in their heads that he is just some complete POS off the field.
Yeah.
And maybe he says weird stuff in interviews sometimes, like on occasion, or maybe he like there's like a rumor about him. He's got those weird like Snapchats. I don't know if you've seen those.
Of course.
But like I just don't all that stuff is just kind of funny to me. Like I just think it's funny. I've never like maybe I'm just not seeing the right things or I'm a glazer or whatever people want to call it. Like I just like I don't know, man. I just think it's so easy to not be bothered by that stuff. So I don't know why people are. I really think it's just I don't think those people really care about that stuff as much as they say they do, and they just don't like him for other more vague reasons that they don't even fully understand either. Because that's what it comes to with most athletes who get hate because we don't know any of these people.
Yeah, if I was the Georgia starting quarterback, I would have an expensive car and probably the hottest, most famous girl who would be willing to be with me.
Most Instagram followers I can
find. Most Instagram followers possible. That would be my goal. No. Yeah. But yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't really get it. From a Georgia, like admittedly, like I hated Justin Fields. When Justin Fields in Ohio State, I hated Justin Fields because I wanted Justin Fields to be Georgia's starting quarterback very badly, you know? But it's like, I don't know, the fact that I don't know, it seemed like a clean break to me. Like, we got Gunner, Beck, I would say was fine. It wasn't great this year. And he was not the reason they were in the national championship. Like he was pretty average in all of the playoff games. Their defense and running the ball was like he was just kind of like more of a game manager. Had a good season, threw some picks. Like that's the national. Like I guess I get something from Georgia fans, even though I feel like he never, got enough credit for how good he was at Georgia. But then some of the national hate of like, who was it? Bill Connolly. And now this isn't hate. This is a fact, but it's the implication of what was the stat Bill Connolly put out about 4 of the 6 losses in Carson Beck's career ended with him throwing an interception on the final game, on the final drive of the minute to the game. It's like the implication of that is every time Carson Beck had a chance to win a game, he choked and threw an interception. It's like, okay, the guy also went, 37-6 as a starter? So he also won a bunch of games. So another way you could phrase that is, of the 6 games this dude lost in his career, 4 of them were winnable on the final drive. Like he was basically almost could have won every start he had in his entire career except for 2.
Of Carson Beck's 6 losses, he almost won 4.
Like, if he didn't get blown out, I don't know. Like, he lost 6 games in 3 years.
That is definitely a stat that is garnered to get certain reactions. Is definitely low hanging fruit. That is a tough stat, though, man. I'm not gonna lie.
It is. It is tough for sure. It's easy to blame yourself for some of those losses when they're ending in interceptions by you, and maybe that's what fans see. They fancy the fourth quarter interception. And was it Louisville? Was that the game this year? Threw like 4 picks.
4, yeah. Ugh.
Well, from a Georgia perspective, though, 3 of those 4 losses were as a Miami Hurricane, so we can't even be that upset. I guess the one for Georgia would have been the Alabama game last year, but I don't know. I guess off the top of my head, I can't think of many like last minute drives. I know Auburn. When
Auburn was the one,
Bowers gets credit for it, but I mean Beck did lead the drive, but. I don't know. Beck won a lot of games at Georgia and at Miami. It's interesting. It's interesting the amount of hate a player like that is getting that I don't think anyone is really hyping. That's my thing. Like Arch Manning didn't deserve to get the hate that he got, but I at least get it a little more when a guy who gets that much hype is struggling. But I don't know. I don't hear Garrett Nussmeier getting this level of hate like for similar production, probably worse production. I don't know. Beck's gonna be a 3rd. Yeah. Beck's probably gonna be what, 3rd, 4th rounder. Like, I don't know. He's fine. First rounder?
He might be. I don't know. NFL teams are very desperate for quarterbacks.
That's fair. I mean, if you're a top 5 quarterback in a class, teams can convince themselves you're worth a first rounder.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't know, man. And like you've got to have a really, really nasty divorce with the university for me to like not like you as a former Georgia player. Like, because I know Georgia fans who hate Carson Beck's guts, but then they turn around and they're like, "Well, I love AD Mitchell. He'll always be a dog." I'm like, they're not that different, man. It's like the same. They're not that different.
The reason for the transfer, I think, is what it comes down to.
Still, like the Justin Fields one, I kind of get because he had that whole thing with the baseball player who allegedly called him a racial slur.
Yeah, that's true.
It messed up his relationship at the university, even though his sister still continued to play softball there. And like, I don't know, maybe wasn't that hostile of an environment if your sister was still there. For all we know, Justin Fields was telling the total truth, and that guy really did call him that, and it really did just sever his ties with the university completely. But that always was kind of a bit of a weirder situation.
It was on video of that guy yelling that.
Okay, then yeah.
But not that this is good, but I'm pretty sure he was saying to put him in the game while yelling a racial slur.
I don't care what the reason was. Yeah, I didn't really start rooting against Justin Fields. I was bummed that he left just because I thought he was going to be sick.
Exactly. That's what
I didn't really start rooting against Justin Fields until he went to the Bears because I'm a Detroit Lions fan. But
fair.
That was the first time. But yeah, man, like you would have to like leave Georgia and then like trash the program on your way out for me to be like, hey,
Yeah.
and Beck didn't do that. What did the thing that Georgia fans get so offended about with Beck is him saying he like rediscovered his love of the game at Miami. And they're
Yeah.
like, we paid you NIL money, like you didn't like it at Georgia, and, like. Yeah, man. Like I don't know. Like newsflash, dude. Like you can have money and still be depressed. Like that
Yeah.
happens all the time. Like I don't. I'm not gonna doubt for a second that he had a better time at Miami than he did at Georgia. Because I've seen what Georgia fans say about him and said about him while he was their quarterback. I would probably have a better time at Miami too. I'm sure he felt a lot more appreciated there. Like I don't know. I'm sure. Like I know a lot of Georgia fans got mad when he said that, but like you can't to me, that was like, oh, good for him. He's doing better. That's not like, oh my God, he hates Georgia.
That
Like,
was my exact thought, was like this idea, like I've seen a lot on social media the last couple of weeks of just like, oh, he finally escaped from that hell that was Athens, Georgia. Like it was this terrible place. And oh, Georgia never did anything good for him. Like Georgia fans kind of getting their feelings hurt. But like those same Georgia fans trashed Carson Beck pretty hard. So like the idea of being the starting quarterback and being a pretty good starting quarterback, and I don't know, conservatively 50% of the fan base like dislikes you. Like that is adversity that you had to deal with as a college kid. Like it's reasonable to be like, yeah, it was kind of tough how much like hate I was getting. Like
yeah,
he was getting hate. Like these same people that like acted like that or got offended by that quote, like didn't want him to be the starting quarterback last year. Like, so
yeah,
it's like, yeah, that's kind of his point, that he discovered his love for football again. Like,
yeah,
yeah, maybe it was too much of a business and there's a lot of pressure on Georgia to win championships. I don't know.
yeah.
That's kind of what you sign up for. But yeah, the fact that Georgia fans, took exception to that, I never really understood it.
I didn't either, man. I just think people just have preconceived notions in their head about players, and then the confirmation bias comes out the second said player opens his mouth. You see it all the time.
Yeah, I'm with you there. But Carson Beck, solid college career. Miami
Yes.
Hurricane. He's
I,
going to be in the NFL, and it's going
I
to say
wanted to win,
Miami.
man.
It's going to say Miami on his profile. It's like
I wonder what it's like.
I'm in no way a Carson Beck just fanboy or anything. He just gets a little too much hate. That's all I'm at.
I wonder what it's like if he ever like starts on Sunday Night Football. What he's gonna say in his player intro? You think he's just gonna say?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because
What do you think he says?
that's the thing now. Like everybody's transferring now. Like every half of the NFL is about to have like 2 schools, 3 schools that they went to. I know like Jalen Hurts says like he either says like roll Sooners or like Boomer. I think he says roll Sooners.
Boomer
So,
Tide isn't that good?
but yeah, Boomer Tide sounds terrible. That sounds like a nightmare scenario. I would not want to be a part of a Boomer Tide. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's Jalen
I
Hurts
haven't heard that.
came up with his own like portmanteau. So I wonder if Beck and others are gonna have to start doing that too. That'll be funny.
I would say zero chance Carson Beck is repping Georgia on Sunday Night Football.
I don't think so either, man.
He might drop a Manatee High School. Is that where he's from?
Yeah, Mandarin. Yeah,
Mandarin. Is that what it was? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he might drop the high school. Who knows? But also, the U is one of the funnest things to say as far as being one of those guys wherever the U. So I'm sure that's where he'll go with it. Speaking of the NFL, I had a whole topic, written up since our last week's show. Didn't have time to get to it in last week's show. I was like, it's off season. The Atlanta Falcons finally hired Kevin Stefanski. I was gonna have a whole thing about if the Falcons were had to go after Kirby Smart. Like, would it be like the worst decision like an NFL franchise could ever make? Like, even if he was good, like so much of the fan base would
I feel like their own fans would be pissed
for taking the Georgia coach. Yeah,
that would be funny. Kirby Smart NFL like rumors flare up. I feel like every few years. I think it was the last time I really remember hearing them by like more than one person was the last time the Bucks needed a new coach. I guess it was right after Bruce Arians stepped down. There was like, oh, they're gonna go after Kirby, and obviously it got shut down immediately. But I mean, all Indiana fans are getting a taste of that now. Everybody's linking Cignetti to every NFL job, so I guess that's just what you sign up for when you're a great coach, and the 24/7 media machine is always running. We always need new things to talk about. So why not just project some coach to go to some other team and piss all their fans off? But yeah, that was funny. Because it was Matt Ryan got appointed like the new president of the Falcons, right? And he was like, he said something to the effect, he's like, we need to hire like a Kirby Smart or like our version of Kirby Smart or something to that effect. And I think like some people took it literally. They're like, wait, you want to hire Kirby Smart?
Take it easy there, Matt.
Like, but yeah, if I ever see Kirby Smart on the Dirty Birds sidelines rising up, I might throw up in my mouth a little bit, but I don't think that would ever happen.
No, you draft Jalen Walker. If you would have taken Jalen Carter, you take some of these guys. That could make me actually become a Falcons fan. Stealing my coach, that's not going to help. Stealing my coach is not going to help me become a Falcons fan. I'm not. Kirby bleeds red and black, but much different red and black.
The Falcons need a new offensive coordinator. Bobo.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
What if the Falcons hired, that would be the funniest thing ever. Now that I would like to see.
That would be very interesting.
That would be the greatest thing of all time.
Yeah. So
Atlanta Falcons hired Mike Bobo to be the offensive coordinator.
And if he was good, I don't know. I guess everybody's happy. Like Georgia fans who wanted to get rid of him are also rooting for the Falcons, I guess. Yeah, that would be an interesting one. Well, let's get out of here, sir. We got the Georgia basketball playing the Missouri Tigers tonight. Also, while we're talking NFL, shout out to Matthew Stafford, the LA Rams, still alive, sir. Stafford in the second Super Bowl, sir.
Yeah,
you heard it here first.
That's my guy.
Hopefully, his first MVP. Absolutely, Stafford, my guy as well. What is he about to be? 38 years old?
He's gonna turn 38. Like, I think his birthday is like right around the Super Bowl. So like that's crazy. He's gonna be 38. I mean that's
the best season of his career.
That's my favorite football player of all time. Like I remember I don't remember much about football when I was 5, but I do remember when he was the Georgia quarterback. I just remember that being the name of the guy, and I always followed him. And the fact that he is still playing, I am out of college working a job, and Matthew Stafford is still doing it for the Rams. I mean, that's pretty awesome stuff, man. Like I'm not one of those like Lions fans that like, oh, I'm Detroit Rams. Like I'm a Rams fan when the Lions aren't on. Like I don't go that far, but like I do watch their games, and I do pull for Stafford for sure. So I hope they make the bowl. But I like the Seahawks too.
I'm that guy. I'm the LeBron fan that just jumped team to team. I'm doing it with Stafford. I'm just went full Rams.
But hey, the Seahawks coach Mike McDonald is a Georgia graduate, so we really can't lose.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, Super Bowl is on February 8th. Stafford, February 7th is his birthday.
Yeah, wow. So, hey, that's crazy. He'll be 30 if they make. I mean, that's something, man.
But yeah, I'm with you because he was such a big deal too, being like the number 1 quarterback. It's like he was committed, I think, as like a sophomore or something. So like since I was like a freshman in high school, like I've been aware of Matthew Stafford. Now I'm a 35-year-old man still in the league. Had his best year of his career, basically. So shout out to Matthew Stafford. I don't know how many years he's got left, but I mean, to have a year, he's just been through it. He's had a tough, 14, 15 years in the NFL. He's had some tough years. But yeah, I don't know. If a year this good, he might hold on for a few more.
Dude, I mean, he got drafted like 3 months after Obama was inaugurated. Think of how much America's changed, man. Matthew Stafford still playing quarterback in the NFL.
I hear you, man. And I really I that's the one thing I didn't like about Stafford going, because I had kind of embraced being a low key Detroit fan through the years, and just being a fan of an LA team. It's like I don't know how to feel. But I mean, if we go from Stafford to Stetson, I don't know. I might be a long term Rams fan. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows, man? I mean, I don't think Stetson Bennett's ever going to start an NFL game
I mean, how many years does Stetson have
unless,
left? What is he pushing, 30?
Emergency, unless something horrible happens to all the other quarterbacks. I kind of doubt Stetson Bennett starts a game, but if he ever does, I will be there from kickoff until the very last snap of the game. I got to see that.
Without a doubt, man. Also, Sanjay chiming in here again. Beck gets way too much hate. That's why we love you, Sanjay. Appreciate you watching every week.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Then also, what does this say?
Yeah.
Brock Curtin.
Yes,
go Dogs for life.
Dogs for life.
Absolutely, Brock.
Well.
But that's all we got for this show. I was at the game last week when Georgia lost on the buzzer beater to Ole Miss.
Oh, you were there, man.
I was at that one, man. Amazing seat. Last thing I'll say, my buddy got dapped up by Kirby Smart. He acknowledged me, so I'm gonna take that for what it's worth. He didn't actually dap me up, but we saw him because we had the most amazing seats I've ever had. Like literally, not courtside, but the literal like first row after that.
Oh, sweet.
Kirby walked right past us, dapped him up. So good stuff, but yeah.
What do you mean? Did he give you just like a?
Yeah, like he kind of nodded to me and then like dapped up my buddy. I was like, damn, Kirby. I was jealous. I was jealous you dapped up Kirby, bro. I was talking about my buddy of mine who's an Auburn fan. We worked at a golf course years ago. Takeo Spikes showed up and like he gave him like a war eagle, and then Takeo Spikes like dapped this man up so hard, it's like, war damn, brother. And it was like I was like so jealous for like the whole rest of the day. I was like, dude, Takeo Spikes just really hyped you up. Like I want that. I want that feeling. I want Champ Bailey to come in here and dap me up like that. But yeah, man. Good stuff. That's all I got. Anything else from you, sir?
I think that's all I got, man. All
right, good stuff. See if the basketball dogs can go out there and get a win. Appreciate everyone who's tuning in live, everyone who's watching the channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. This is Georgia Bulldogs Live, presented by FanDuel. So thanks, everybody. And until next time, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the voice of college football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the voice of college football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select a betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.